Taking full control of Soledar enables Russia to cut off the Ukrainian forces and supplies in Bakhmut, which is located from Soledar. After that, to block and encircle the Ukrainian officials remain there.
Climate activist Greta Thunberg has joined other activists in the German village of Luzera to protest against the expansion of the coal mine. Thousands of people are expected to join them on Saturday. Researchers claim ExxonMobil accurately predicted climate change decades ago to downplay its findings. A report in the journal Science says ExxonMobil projected a temperature rise of 0.2 degrees Celsius each decade. Japan says it's planning to release 1 million tons of wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plants into the Pacific Ocean this year.
If people can sell any away ticket, the United one will definitely not be for sale, is it?
They don't do it, sell at face value.
The man accused of killing the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has been formally charged with
Is it?
Tetsuya Yamagami has been deemed fit to stand
500
trial
quid.
after undergoing psychiatric assessment. He could face the death penalty if convicted. Police in South Korea are recommending 23 officials be charged in connection with a Halloween crowd surge that killed nearly 160 people. Seoul police deployed 137 officers to tackle drugs and crime. Experts say pedestrian safety wasn't adequately prioritized. China has reported a record trade surplus of $877 billion for 2022 despite coronavirus restrictions. But exports for December were at their lowest level since the start of February 2020. Those are the headlines. Up next, it's the stream. Bye-bye.
The American people have spoken, but what exactly did they say? Is the world looking for a whole new order with less America in it? Is the public agenda on decline in America? How much do social media companies know about you, and how easy is it to manipulate you?
The critical look at US politics, the bottom line.
Hi, Anthony. Okay, thanks for watching the stream. Made in Africa. If I find a solution to vaccine inequity across the African continent, we've all seen firsthand what happens when there is a global pandemic and vaccines aren't available to everybody who needs them. But what if Africa and African countries start to produce their own vaccines? Could that be a game changer? We start our conversation with Krishna.
Over the past 3 years, our team has studied the global access and inequities to COVID-19 vaccines, and we see clearly that lack of manufacturing capacity, especially in Africa, has been a key driver of global inequities. That means there has to be significant investment from both the public and the private sector. There has to be access to intellectual property and know-how. We need the human capital, so significant training and capacity building is necessary. We've got to rework the supply chains to ensure that they are adequate for regional manufacturing. And we have to make sure that regulatory support, regulatory oversight are appropriate to ensure that we're developing quality assured vaccines around the world.
He still lives there.
That's quite a list. Well, what I love is that there is a list. There are possibilities, there's a strategy, there's one strategy. I am going to welcome Petro and also Dr. Wendy. I know you know Dr. Wendy, and they're both going to introduce themselves to you in the context of making vaccines in Africa. Petro, welcome to the stream. Please say hello to our viewers around the world. Tell them who you are, what you do.
Thank you very much. I'm Pieter Blanche. I'm the Managing Director of African Biotechnology, Biologics. We're based in Cape Town, and we are the WHO mRNA hub, making mRNA technology accessible to Africa to produce their own mRNA vaccine.
All right.
Great to be on the show.
Great to have you. Dr. Yodi, it is so lovely to have you. We've been talking to you a lot over the past couple of years, but this is something quite fresh and new and potentially positive. Remind our audience who you are, what you do.
Well, it's wonderful to be in with you, Femi, and it's great to be on the show with sisters. My name is Dr. Yodi Alaska, my name is Dr. Yodi. I wear several hats, but for this show, really the most pertinent one is that I chair the African Union Africa Vaccine Delivery Alliance, as well as I'm Special Envoy for the Access to COVID Tools Accelerator, which is a global platform situated at WHO.
All right, good to have have you, ladies. Good to have you audience as well. If you're watching right now, you're on YouTube, you're an important part of our conversation. Put your comments, your questions right here. Be part of today's show. Facts and figures, Petra and Dr. Yodi. We have to show these for our audience. So see where we are right now.
No.
So 1% of vaccines used
I didn't know he got arrested. How do you find out this week?
90% of vaccines used in Africa are imported. 0.1% of the global supply of vaccines produced in Africa, 25% of the global supply of vaccines is used in Africa. So a big user of vaccines, a very small producer of vaccines. Why is there that imbalance? Petra, you start.
Maybe many reasons. Firstly, this is a reality which is not new. This has been a history for 10 years. But the one thing that the COVID pandemic has done is to really surface this reality and create a stream of energy that will change it. So the reasons being lack of capacity, reasons being as that the global suppliers dominates the landscape, the reason being that there was never a strategy that was comprehensive, creation of an ecosystem and implemented. Now we have the strategy, and the strategy we have started to implement. So this time we're going to get it right.
Really, what always strikes me is the brilliance of scientists and researchers and doctors on the African continent, and some of the amazing research that was done during the beginning of our global pandemic that we're in right now came from within the continent. So it's not the brain power, it's not the intelligence, is it just money? Is it electricity? Yeah.
I would say that we absolutely have the capacity, and we often hear, you've just heard from Petra, who's doing some incredible work. We often hear that there is no, that we have to import the capacity. The capacity exists within Africa. The know-how, the ability is inherently there. Many of our diasporans are the ones who work in many of these manufacturing areas around the world. But it is power, and it is also responsibility, it's leadership, and it is governance. But there is an opportunity within this crisis, this moment for hope, as Petro said, that what the pandemic has done, it has shown a magnifying glass on all of the inequities in the world that we live in. And that is now showing us all, as Africa, that we need to be in charge, not just of our own vaccines, but of our own health security more broadly. Not just vaccine production, but all the medical countermeasures. We also don't have testing. We don't have the diagnostics capacity, not just for COVID, but for a myriad of ailments and illnesses. We also don't have the therapeutics capacity. We're not able to, right now on the African continent, there is no Paxlovid, which is the tablet du jour to treat COVID. And why is that? Because people like Petra and Afrigen and our friends at Aspen and also our friends in Senegal should be able to make these drugs, but they know that the technical transfer and the sharing of that proper international of the technology, let me not get technical, is not there. So people like Petro are looking at the world saying, come on, come to us, aren't you, Petro? Come on, we're ready. We have the know-how. We have the capacity. We just need you not to give us permission, but we need you to lean in to this moment and recognize that Africa's health security is also global health security and vice versa.
So Jody, you're right. There needs to be a can-do attitude. We have the R&D capabilities in pockets on the continent. But without building a policy environment, and without building a vertically integrated sector, we cannot harness and leverage the value of R&D knowledge. I think what we've demonstrated the continent in various capacities over the last 18 months is that we have the scientific base, we have the technical base, we need infrastructure, we need investment, and we need a policy environment that will stimulate local production and local procurement. Without that, we will not have a sustainable sector. So this is an ecosystem that needs to be created of regulatory equality, and a marketplace reform that will procure locally. And not only global procurement.
Petra, this is huge. You are building an entire industry almost from scratch. And I say this as a
Not from my own.
Yes, yeah. But even if it's not by yourself, even if it's with several countries getting together, or the WHO giving the support, this is huge. And
How many
let me start with something that I
organizations
do
do you have
understand, and
members?
that is, what are the vaccine needs? Of course, we're in a global pandemic, so there's COVID. But beyond that,
And for
Dr.
the
Yogi,
5,
what
he
else?
was clearly not guilty. For
There's
3, they
measles,
say that
there's
they
rubella,
didn't reach a
I
majority.
mean, something that is very close and dear to my heart, and I'm currently
not right.
visiting sort of the global health sort of gurus and headquarters of the world in Geneva. I've just recently been talking to some people about HPV vaccines and also the testing, the diagnostics for the human papillomavirus, which is, basically the cause of cervical cancer. We have vaccines that, for instance, can prevent this. We have testing that can prevent this. We in Africa need to be able to look at it. We need to be able to look at the fact that not every African country is going to be able to produce COVID vaccines. I mean, there are people talking about producing them all over the shop. And we must be realistic that there isn't the absorptive capacity for everybody to produce just COVID. So let's look to the future. Let's look to protecting our girls and our women on the continent. Let's look to things like the HPV the vaccine for girls and women. Let's look to things like, Aspen in South Africa are now looking at producing the sort of suite of childhood immunization vaccines. We must be able to have regional production capacity on the African continent because we need to protect our own health security. What happened during COVID was that other countries, stopped their vaccine exports because they were protecting their own sovereignty. And that is, that is understandable. But the world can now not say to Africa, you must not produce your own. But what Petro is saying is absolutely correct. We need the policy environment. But when we look at that policy environment, we must first of all say we need to look at the leadership in our own country. And we need to hold our own leaders and our own selves accountable.
Yogi, hold that thought for a moment. Talking about leadership, I'm going to go to the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, and this is what he said last year. And I'm just looking here. It was almost a year ago to the date, and this is about the potential for what can be produced in the African continent. Here he is.
Today, I'm delighted to announce the first 6 African countries that will receive technology from the app to produce their own mRNA vaccines: Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. More than 80% of the population of Africa is yet to receive a single dose. Much of this inequity has been driven by the fact that globally vaccine production is concentrated in a few mostly high-income countries.
Pedro, that announcement made me smile. One was because it was hopeful, and the other one was like Dr. Tedros was almost like a game show host. And our contestants are going to be Egypt and Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. But it is a little bit.
What do you think of Alvarez?
How transformative could this be, the tech that is coming your
He
way?
needs more
Very
practice.
hugely. Maybe just to circle back
Bit
on the
more
previous
time.
question, we've identified
Are you-
22 priority vaccines on this continent.
Okay.
Those are the vaccines which are not only for routine vaccination but also for outbreaks. Ebola, Lassa, vaccines for HIV, neglected diseases. So there is a clear strategy and a demand and a need being identified. Circling back to Dr. Tedros' announcement, it was amazing that 5 companies in 5 countries on the continent will have access to future relevant mRNA technology through this program. We have already had Tunisia and Egypt at Afrigen receiving the first knowledge transfer for mRNA technology. We will receive Senegal in the next month, and we are waiting for Nigeria and Kenya. BioVac already being trained, and BioVac already ready to receive the first technology package. So this program is building future relevant capacity for mRNA vaccine production. It diversifies the platforms in Egypt, and it adds platforms to new companies in Nigeria, Kenya, Senegal, and of course BioVac being expanded and being one of the foremost entities. This is fundamentally a game changer. mRNA technology it has a promise for innovation vaccination, it has the promise not only for COVID-19, in fact beyond
You
that.
see that
But you
Mickey
can look
goes
at
to
how
store.
yeah, can
It has a promise for malaria. It has a
Yeah,
promise.
sure.
But we have so many promises on the continent. I'm going to go back to my point and also Petro's point about, about policy and all of that. The Abuja Declaration that our leaders made in Africa was 21 years ago now. It's 20 years ago, 2022.
I wasn't born, Wendy.
And no, but neither was I. But
Yeah, we read about it.
we were born in 20 years ago. We don't know about this, but we read about this. It's history. And 20 years ago, I actually have to confess that I was in Abuja that day. It was May in 2020 that the Abuja Declaration was decided by our leaders that they would commit 15% to health budgets. Where are we today? I think only one country in Africa has reached that 15%. I don't want to insult anybody, so I won't mention which ones in case I'm wrong. And in fact, this is investment. So what Petro is talking about, we can't always have, the world is perceiving us as not investing ourselves in our own health security. And for me, that is where this starts. Because the buck stops at home. I have been known to say during the early days of COVID that if COVID had originated in Africa, the world would have locked us away and thrown it overseas. There would have been no Operation Warp Speed. There would have been no investment in R&D because we have to develop our own and we have to commit ourselves.
All right, mister.
Our leadership.
Going, lad.
An
Horrible feeling. It's going to be about 4 people sat there waiting.
Horrible feeling.
Yeah.
That wasn't a horrible feeling.
It was. Well, I was sat in there for
That was
2
you
hours.
hallucinating.
As Africans about inequity left us behind. This is
After all, Benjamin Mendy is not guilty, no?
Yeah, right.
What do you mean, yeah,
That's
right?
going for a retrial. Let me say that's going for a retrial, that lad.
Fucking hell. I mean,
Same
you have to be a United fan to be
No.
somehow weird. He got found no guilty of
No.
out of 7. No.
No, it's because they couldn't come to a...
No. He had 7. 5 of them not guilty. Those 2, they couldn't find a majority verdict on it.
Right.
So that means he's not guilty. And they decide.
Necessarily.
No. That's what happened. It's 5.
Same with Ryan Giggs, isn't it?
Sorry.
Ryan Giggs got, he couldn't come to a majority decision, so he's got to go for a retrial. Got to go for it again with a different jury. That's what they'll do with them other 2. Put him in a retrial with a different jury.
And you call all the witnesses again.
Yeah.
So I want to move this
Oh,
to
the
a
thing
big
that
picture.
they-
Even if we start to forget.
He's fucked anyway, he won't play football again, will he?
As we forgot with HIV
Fought.
in 2000.
Same
as
with
we
Greenwood,
forgot
he's
with
fucked and all, no matter what
influenza,
happens with him.
As we forgot about Ebola.
Is he not training for United?
Nah, he's been banned from the club, he's not allowed to come anywhere near it.
Is it?
No, he's
For the
suspended.
leadership on
Not
this
allowed anywhere
continent,
near.
what is the most important opportunity and
He is the
responsibility
worst
to
one
develop
because
this continent?
it's worse. Why? Because he's only
Vaccine
played
manufacturing
not even
capacity.
2 years, is it?
Capturing the
And they're back together now.
of this
And they're back
massive
together.
market
Back together?
for
Fucking must be
vaccine
joking.
supply. Even if we put the health issues aside, it's
It's back to the
essential
drama
economic
queen.
development imperative.
And prosecution is saying, oh well, we don't care.
In that, building a workforce.
We've got evidence.
Yeah, well, it's too late now, isn't it? Once the police take it and say they're going to go on trial, it doesn't matter whether she don't got a press charge or not, does it? Too far down the line.
Receiving vaccines from other Middle
It doesn't make sense. She can just go there and make it collapse.
to date have been created.
She goes there as a prosecution witness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just start off bullshit.
Yeah,
there
that's
and,
it.
and it's out. It's out.
I was lying. I was lying about it.
Yeah.
Because we're in COVID, when people talk about
They just
vaccines,
play acting.
people think of COVID vaccines, and we need to begin to use the language
I like
that
it
Petra
rough.
used earlier.
Yeah, I like it rough, you know.
Vaccines. You do know that there was the current strain of Ebola, which, thank goodness.
I didn't know I liked it rough, but I found out yesterday that I do.
And my
So
sister Jane, the minister,
I'm going to bring Jane in right now.
Ebola outbreak over.
Yeah.
But those vaccines, they were in a freezer somewhere, the ones that are being used in a trial, that a company considered it was not worth their while
Right.
to develop
Let
something.
me just bring in.
Begun for.
Let me bring in the Minister of Health with Uganda. You just named her. So relevant as we look ahead to what is possible with vaccines.
how they're important that they're produced within African countries. And this is what she had to say October the 12th, 2022. Very relevant to our conversation right now. Here she is.
Working together, we shall come up with practical solutions to better protect our communities and reduce any chances of cross-border spread of this virus in the spirit of African solutions for African problems. In the long term, as African governments, we need to bolster investment in research and development, innovation and manufacturing of health tools such as vaccines, diagnostics, and essential therapeutics to address the widespread spectrum of diseases that threaten us.
All right, so I have YouTube comments and questions for both of you. Petra, help me out with this. This is the speed round for you. So we have from Hussein here, this is the best solution for the African continent, for the whole issue with vaccine inequity. The best solution.
Right, boss, let's do it.
Sweet, dude.
I agree. That one was easy.